is providing refreshments for tonight, so he'll be bringing those in.
Yes, ma'am. Are we ready?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
1,800 hours, all right, let's bow together. Most gracious Father, we come once again, we have this meeting once a month, and you're always in the midst wherever we are, and we ask you to touch all the hearts and minds that are here today, that we can come and establish and continue to have a rapport one with another, and at the same time, lifting you up in all that we do and praise and honor in your holy name. Now bless everyone that's here tonight, bless our president and secretary and all the members of SED and all our visitors and friends and near and far. We ask you, Lord, to give us traveling grace as we leave this place whenever from your sight. In the name of Jesus, we pray and we ask it all. We say together, amen. Amen. Bless you.
Good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
I know that we had talked about Patty Cat being here. I contacted her a month ago, had them set up to come, and today I got an email. She had an executive meeting, she can't be here. She was gonna send 2 other people, and 1 person's on vacation, a flight got canceled, so Habitat won't be here tonight. So that was one of the main people that I had that was gonna be here. I'm not for sure, somebody from code enforcement was supposed to show up. I haven't heard from them, but they were supposed to be here, so. Are you here for traffic?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I invited somebody from the police department, from the traffic department, because there was a lot of questions about traffic issues in Southeast Denton, so I'll go ahead and let him come up. And, Officer Cunningham is going to get refreshments, so, I think he had salad and pizza, so he's going to do that.
Thank you, Tommy.
If you want to introduce yourself.
Okay, no problem. I'm Ryan Carnes. I am a part of the traffic division at the police department. I currently work night shift. I come in at 4 p.m. and primarily focus on DWI enforcement. But I do see the guys on the motorcycles regularly. So I'm here to hear your concerns. I'm going to pass them on. I got an email from one of the deputy chiefs. They came down asking that I come out and hear what you guys have going on in the neighborhood. But I understand that Morse has been an issue, Morse Street. And I think the principal of the school has gotten in contact with us too about Newton Street. But what do you guys have for me?
We have a problem on Hill Street.
Hill Street.
Excessive speed.
Okay.
I have to back out of my driveway to get on Hill Street, and they can fly coming over that hill. I'm just scared that somebody is going to run into me.
Okay.
But, you know, it's just getting worse and worse. Someone's going to get seriously hurt on that. And I was just wondering if, not all the time, if we could just have a car, marked, unmarked. There's problems on Hill Street. I live on Park Lane.
Okay.
Possibly have a car sitting there on Park Lane, and when they, you know, fly by, just get 2 or 3 of them for speed.
Okay.
And I'm sure they would pass the word along that it's, you know, a speed trap here, slow down. But they just fly through there with no abandon. The street is too narrow for all of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it needs immediate attention.
Okay. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I think someone drove through a house on Hill Street. Moving a little quick. So, okay. Hill Street for sure.
Right.
I got a question.
Yes.
I know you're not with, I don't know, Mike can say something about it. With the streets and stuff, you know, like they put them speed bumps up and stuff like that. I rode out to this street, it's called Glenwood Street.
Okay.
It's over by Woodrow and stuff.
Okay.
Because they wanted me to go over and look at some type of stuff that they got in their neighborhood that stops these speeding cars. On the first bump that they took me to, the first one is not even close to that school over there. They changed the name on it. It was over there by Woodrow Wilson.
Okay.
Once you enter this neighborhood on Glenwood Street, you automatically gonna be stopped. Because this is my first time, they might have been there for 100 years, I never know nothing about it. Still it being the bumps, you know, what they call the bumps. These were made in the street. Are you aware of what I'm talking about?
I'm not familiar with the ones over there, but they used to have some on Med Park near Medical City, and they were pretty rough.
No.
They were built into the road.
Okay, these were built in the road. And they wasn't rough. I think it was the best, great idea.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't even know about them. I have never saw them before.
Okay.
The reason why they asked me to come out there, because I come to the meeting, I wanted to address that.
Okay.
Then you go on down a little bit further, you won't see the bumps, you know, the bump curves, right? My thing is, that would be a great idea if everybody knew exactly what I'm talking about and what they look like, and you never would know they was over there unless somebody was telling you to go over. I don't know who you talk to or discuss it with. I think that would be a good idea for Moore Street, like she said, Hill Street, because you're not even gonna know you're finna run up into them, but it's gonna stop your car, period.
Sure.
So my thing was, instead of them, you know, I was trying to put the big bumps up there. These were number like lines.
Okay.
They was just line, 3 lines apiece. But I guarantee you gonna stop. You ain't gonna speed and run over them.
Okay.
So my suggestion is, I don't know who you would talk to about it. This is your department or whatever. But I wanted to bring that up. That I think those flats will work good over in Southeast Denton.
Okay.
Cause why we don't have them, nobody even never saw them.
Right.
But out there, they out there, but nothing's over here for us like that.
Okay.
These folks driving like they at the speed racing over here in Southeast Denton.
Yep.
But I bet you them lines won't hold them and stop them. So my suggestion is, if you could discuss something with them about the flash, see what they say about it.
Okay.
And I can get a picture and show everybody and they see what I'm talking about. Cause you didn't know they was over there, but I figured it. And I think they do great.
Hill Street, Curly,
Curly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Curly, and Lakey Street, I know there's been talking about Lakey Street. I noticed that my own self, and then Root Street, and I know who's doing the speeding on Root Street, but they speed, it's too many kids on bicycles
Exactly.
for the speeding to be going on.
Okay.
So, and they hit that curve from Root Street to Cook Street, and I'm afraid somebody's just gonna go right on over to AutoZone the way that the
Yeah.
speeds are there. So there's a speeding issue that really needs to be addressed over here.
Okay. I hear you. We can definitely, I can send an email and see, I know someone knows about how the speed bumps were put in place. So
Yeah.
I would just need to find out from them what it
Please
took.
do.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
My question is, I live on Moore Street, and the traffic is terrible on Moore Street, but it's a lot of the, universities, the kids cut through because they go to school there and they live back over those apartments back over that way. And the traffic is so bad through there, but it wouldn't be that bad if we had policemen giving tickets. Don't nobody give tickets.
We don't even see
What's the
police
problem
over
with
there.
that?
Okay.
They don't come
I
out.
mean, they don't control it, they don't try to stop it, they haven't done anything, it's been going on for a long time.
Okay.
I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Do we still have a lot of policemen in there?
We have a lot of police and
Where they at?
we have a lot of calls for service coming in too, so I don't know if that might have something to do with it. But we have a traffic division and, it might be a project that we can take up in the traffic division and, patrol. We just might have to let them answer calls, but, you know, we got motorcycles and cars and.
They're not over here.
Right,
Now, the way we got over here, I'm not gonna call no name.
So
I'm not gonna call his name. But I think it was a shame for this to come out of his mouth, and he's supposed to be the upper person.
okay,
The reason why there's no officers and stuff patrolling and riding and sat over here is because the neighborhood didn't want it. What type of answer is that to give somebody? Cause the community don't want the cops over here. That's why they not being sent over here.
okay. You know, if people feel that way, then they should come to the meeting and let us know, because
No,
all I'm
this-
hearing is
this
what y'all
is-
do, so that's good.
No, this is coming from, You don't have to have, it was stupid for him to say that. And like I say, I ain't gonna call the name of the wheel because I ain't scared of it. But anyway, why would you tell somebody that's calling trying to get officers out in Southeast then? Colette, ain't you aware of what I'm saying? Why would you tell somebody that the community don't want the cops over in y'all area? That's why I don't let them come in Southeast then. Okay, duh. But you,
What community? Talking about us?
yeah, Southeast, they don't want the cops over there, so that's why we don't force them to come.
One person told the chief that we didn't need the police in this neighborhood, and that's why the police.
That's why they don't, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that'll keep us away,
And I
but
thought that
now
was
that I
the
do,
stupid thing in the world to say.
I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up, for sure, okay.
The way he showed said, bring him up out there and say.
Yes, sir.
I don't live in Southeast Denton, but I've been knocking on a lot of y'all's doors, and I definitely hear speeding on Morris, on Lakey, on Curly, on Ruth. And I wanted to see if I say an idea to you, you know, if there's interest or not. You know, when you talk about the speed bumps, the good thing about that versus police enforcement is they're there all the time, right? The police aren't gonna be there all the time, even if they're there as much as we want them, they're not gonna be there all the time. Speed bump would be. But another thing, like a speed bump, is when they build those bump outs at the corner, like brick, extend the curve at the corner, so that you know you have to slow down to get through that intersection. And then that's something that would be there all the time, and the fire department would complain about speed bumps down to truck. So I'd be curious to just your reactions, like, is that something that I should advocate for? Is those bump outs at the corners? Like picture like at Lakey, in front of the American Legion Hall, where people are gonna park on the sides anyway, by the churches. But if you mark that area by having at the end of it, the curb is built out and bricked in, so that the lane looks narrower when you go to the intersection. I don't know if I'm clear enough in what I'm trying to describe, but I'm hearing, or my sense is you're at least interested, but you don't know exactly what I'm talking about. Is that right?
Well,
Big pictures, can't do it with my hands.
Is that what they have on, McKinney Street by the jail?
Yeah.
That wide by the police station?
Yeah, I don't know that for a fact myself.
Oh,
but
yes,
I think that's
it's at
right.
the corner of
Yeah, that
Hickory
real
and
wide corner.
Exposition.
Yeah.
Hickory and Exposition.
Well, another place where if it makes sense, you know, I talked to your neighbor at the corner of Lakey and Morris, and he talked about how many accidents have been at that intersection. So I asked how many there were. There have been 5 accidents in 5 years. I think that's too many. You know, if I heard there was 1 accident in 5 years, it's like maybe expectable. But, you know, if there was a bump out there, I don't know. At least sense it might be something that we ought to be looking into.
So your question is, we don't need no bumps, I mean, what are you saying?
An alternative.
Yeah, it's another tool,
Another tool.
right, that would calm the traffic down, because they gotta slow down because it gets narrower at the intersection. I'm not a traffic engineer, but I want to at least.
I think the thing
raise
that
that
you
possibility.
mentioned was that it slows the fire department down when they're trying to get to calls.
If they have speed bumps, if they're, we hear sometimes.
Well,
They don't like that.
I understand that, what y'all talking about.
I will say
Yeah,
one
we
thing
understand that, but.
on the curb, and I'm just thinking of one example is on Camino Real, down toward Pecan Creek on the south side of it. They had the curb, and then they ended up having to add the speed bumps as well, so they have both. Right.
Well, when I was in the neighborhood, I never went around no kids, so I wasn't discussing the kids. I'm discussing the straightaway and the
Yes.
stopping. So I guess when I'm being put up in other parts of town, well, the fire trucks and everybody had problems then, because they sure got them in the neighborhood.
Yes.
So I ain't seen nobody trying to take them up. So let us decide, would that work in Southeast Denton? Cause we live over here, they don't. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I got that.
Does anybody have anything else for the police?
I don't know if I necessarily have anything for the police, but maybe I can add some additional information to what she's talking about. So I'll just say hello, everybody. I understand from our traffic people, Rebecca DeVinny, and I'm on the mobility committee for the city. So we get a chance to hear about all the stuff that's getting ready to happen. I was gonna talk a little bit about that. But for this particular issue, I understand that they don't use those bump curb, those slow down mechanisms as part of a calming. They have to calm the street down. They have something called other techniques like he was mentioning. But those bump outs, they really do damage emergency vehicles. Those fire trucks are well over $1 million a piece. So we certainly can't afford to, damage fire trucks. But we also have to understand that these larger streets like Moore Street and Curley Street are thoroughfares, they're through streets. I've even taken that road to get to the other side before instead of going down to Hickory or Mill or what have you, I cut through here. So from what I understand is that along with this, all the work they're getting ready to do, which I was going to talk about, they are also seriously right now, because we got to get it done, and I've already told you, people are getting anxious about this. We've got to do something, and we've got to do it as quickly as possible. They are looking at those calming devices to calm the street down. They're going to narrow that street down. And then they're going to go ahead and put in a biking lane. And along with the biking lane, there's going to be area for cars to park. Kind of like a little parking space where you can kind of go in between those bumps, those bump outs. So everything, including currently, I know they know about the speed problem because now the city is going to undergo a citywide speed study. And I said, well, we've been studying this same street for the last 30 years. Let's be ready to make some decisions on this street. So as part of them getting ready to start tearing up the neighborhood, y'all notice that we're getting ready to start kind of tearing up the neighborhood because of the roadways. They're getting ready to get in here and get started. That's going to be part of the process. So that's coming. And I do hear you. I hear you on Curley. I'm always saying something about Curley. We've been talking about these big trucks coming through here, missing Duncan Street to go over to these, places, businesses over on Duncan. And then they're missing that turn and they're coming through the neighborhood to get back over to Duncan. So I also know that's an issue. I've already brought that up to them as well. So all of this stuff is really literally, as we're talking about it, they are in the process of doing something about it. So I'm there to remind them every time we have a meeting, or I can just email them. I will absolutely tell them again, we had another meeting about it. So, let's just keep this on the front burner, that you said you were gonna work on this neighborhood first in terms of the streets, which they are. You can see that happening right now. Don't, be mindful, they are still concerned about these large thoroughfares and people are coming through. I've even mentioned putting a stop sign. Why don't we just put a stop sign at Bushy and do a 3-way stop right there, just to slow people down.
That won't work.
And there's something.
Because they keep running the stop sign right here where I live. That's not gonna work.
That one right there on the corner of on Moore Street and Newton Street.
Right.
Just going. And so, something's got to give. Something's got to give. And so, I guess as long as I'm there, I can just keep harping on it. But we've got to hold them accountable as well. And I will make sure I do my very best to do that part.
So how many fire trucks have any of them been damaged or going?
I don't know that answer for that question.
Yeah.
I cannot give you that, but I do know that is very critical in the reason why.
So they can't put them on?
I don't know. I'm just giving you what I know.
Yeah.
But I understand that is really one of the critical reasons why they are just not going to put up something like that, to keep that. Because that's a thoroughfare. That's why it's a wide road versus everything else being tight and narrow. It was meant for that road for people to make their way from one side to the other.
Yes, Howard?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what I missed, so I apologize for being late. But you're referring to the thoroughfares, the speeding and whatever else, well,
Speak.
they've already pretty much fixed our street currently. I don't know where all the construction's going or whatever. But all I know is what I see every day. And you can't come over there for 15 minutes when they're dropping school kids off because people are pretty well behaved. They still pass by the buses sometimes. But every day, it looks like Yellow Belly Raceway. And when I top the hill in my truck, and they're passing me with my mom, my wife, and several of us, and they're passing me going over the hill. Not once, not twice, I don't know how many times it's happened. And I feel like they're that way because they know there's no repercussion, there's no watchdog, there's nobody there. They ride motorcycles, dirt bikes up and down the walking path, up and down the street. And if anybody who disagrees with me, I can take you over and show you, I can have video. Every day, and I'm not exaggerating, every day. I've asked, I've been told that there was a study done, a speed study done. Then I was told that, well, I don't know if there was a study done. Then it was, we don't have enough traffic officers, to do it. I'm retired law enforcement, I understand that. I understand the need and the demand, especially evening shift, that time of day. But what's going to be the answer when my mailbox has been hit once, the metal pole I had to put up to protect my mailbox has been knocked over once. Mom's mailbox has been hit. Down the road, they drove into somebody's house. And does it take actually somebody dying before, and like I said, I understand the demand, but that's not going to matter a whole lot when somebody's kid or my mom back down the driveway is dead. And then I get the reputation for being the guy that stirs stuff up because I'm asking questions. Well, I'll take that. I'll take it all day long. Because I'm just simply asking for something more than police presence twice a month, maybe. And maybe I'm not out all night. I don't see them during the time, but sometimes I know that just the presence is enough to get their attention. You stop a few, maybe warn a few, I don't know, whatever. Write a few tickets when they start getting hard copies, or they start, if you catch me right here. I tell my kids, you better slow down. I've already complained about this. If you get it, you just get it. Go down there and pay the ticket. But you better not do that. But I gotta have some help, some support, and some real answers. And I know of other instances where other areas have complained, and there were resources dedicated to it. Not only that, went back and said, hey, what do you think of what we're doing for you? I haven't seen anybody. So at what point do you give up? What point do you seek attention from somewhere else to get something done, or what? Because I don't want to look out and somebody I know will love somebody I don't know is scattered up and down my road because these people feel like they can do whatever. Right now, I guarantee you, before dark, you can get 10 to 20 of them right now. This time of day, every day. But they say, well, there's no problem over there. Yeah, there is. Is it us that you don't like? Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
And they think, they say black folks despond, how you say it, despond the police department. Where is that coming from? We don't have anything to do with that.
Everybody, I know most of the police over there.
Like you said,
That ain't what it should be.
I seen a guy do it 3 times, right there, when they was having a little thing in the park last week. Just right there on the street there. There, street.
No, I'll get you. Matter of fact, what Maxine said is exactly right, and I'll get you the names. So there's people saying they don't want the police over here. It's the same people that came walking through the neighborhood when they protested and don't live here. Same folks walking through here are the same ones that told staff they don't want police over here. So I'll get those emails, get them over to you, and then you'll have the name, and you can. And I guarantee you, some people. No, I send it to you because
my thing is this. I know there are people saying that
because they don't live here. They don't understand the neighborhood.
But my thing is, excuse me, my thing is, if you running a police department, period, there is no reason to use an excuse to say, Cause they don't want the police over here. It's their job. And that's what you hired for, to me. Send your officers out, period. You don't have to, cause everybody don't feel that way, that we don't need no officers in town.
100%.
No, I don't think that's right for them to have said.
100%. But the city council hires and fires the city manager, right?
Yeah.
So city council, if a city council member says, I don't want police over there, city manager is supposed to ignore them?
That doesn't mean the city council person anymore.
I'll get you the email.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
man,
Who was
the two people that was calling Chief Dixon don't live here. Jessica Ramel and another lady named Queen were constantly saying that people in Southeast didn't need the police officers in the neighborhood. So after I spoke with Chief Dixon about it, that's where he was getting that from. It wasn't coming directly from people that live in Southeast Denver because they know, we know that we need people here, bottom line. So that other information as far as people from this community, I would like to see that email from somebody from this community saying that we don't need police officers. It came from Jessica Ramel and another black chick named Queen. They're the one that was pushing that when the Black Lives Matter thing was going on in the neighborhood or in the city. They pushed that. So it wasn't coming from us over here.
But my thing still is, and this is the point, I wouldn't care if that sheriff said, we don't want no police in Southeast Denver. You can't go by that. Your daily job is to look over us, help us, be there for us, and if we got crime, get there, come help us now. You can't say you can't gonna send your officers out. Because that church said we didn't want no officers in Southeast.
Well, it comes-
You get what I'm saying?
reality
It shouldn't be like that.
If it's that easy, then I can just say I don't want police over here.
Exactly. You can't go by what
Because
somebody
I'm running
say.
something I may be.
Send your officers, that's their job, what they get paid for.
At some point, reality has to kick in and go, well, why would I listen to a person telling me that they don't want to?
Exactly.
Period.
Period.
And regardless, what about the ones of us, if there's only one of us?
Yeah.
What about that one? That's who you're obligated, that's who you're supposed to protect and serve, that's your job to do. If there's only one that stands up and says, I need you, we need you here, we'd like to see you present. And you know, 100%, I'm pro-police. You know, I'll still run to wherever it is if I have to put my own life on the line to do the job.
Yeah.
So I'm not, and I love my people, and I love my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's put me in a bad position, one way or the other, because other folks don't understand my job, and then others see me as part of the other side because of what I look like. You know, but I had to do that, and I did it for 30 years, and I'd do it all over again if I could. So I'm not ashamed of what I did for a living.
Yeah.
But now I'm living in the same neighborhood where I've always been, and I see a situation. We need help.
That's bottom line.
Maybe we just need to have a meeting with, and get everybody that needs to come from the police department here, and do it like that.
But he ain't the chief no more.
And there's
Still over.
no one can think we're showering down on you because you're here. You know, like the sacrificial lamb. I'm just telling the truth. And I think, you know, I'm getting tired of talking to myself. When I start hearing people, old people in the neighborhood that I respect, love, and cherish, saying, just give up. They ain't gonna do nothing. And I'm over here trying to go, no, you gotta call, you gotta get involved, you gotta do something, you gotta let them know. And they will do something.
We can get whoever at the next meeting from the police department here.
I'll see that.
When I emailed, Deputy Chief Paget, I asked him somebody from traffic, because there was a lot of traffic issues with the speeding and everything, and that's why he's here. But we can get the deputy chief, the Frank Dixon back over here, since he's still over the police department. He's just not the chief, right?
He's already in.
Yeah, he's the chief. So we can get them over here, but I just want to move along from there because we have other people here. But he knows what you guys discussed, so you can take that back and see what happens. If we notice a change, if we don't notice a change, then we'll just get them right back out here until we see a change. That's the only way I see them to do it. So, and Officer Tony Cunningham, He was even here, but he went to get refreshments, so. Thank you.
No problem.
He's gonna hang around if you have questions after the meeting.
I'll still be here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did anybody from code enforcement come in? No? Okay.
Can I say something? I did ask a question about these speed bumps again. Are they also looking in the community where all these children are? And these cars are flying like crazy. And it's just scary in this neighborhood that I've been.
Yeah,
You know, around the majority of the kids down there are my nephews, my family. You know, and people just come through there speeding like crazy.
Yeah.
Or some speed bumps need to be put in, I almost said the neighborhood, Willow Creek, Scott Street, all around in that area, it's really, really bad. I pulled the baby out of one of a truck standing this high. Scared me to death.
Lady Street is the same way.
No, Miss Beth, this is worse.
But they be speeding up and down, and I go with what Junior was saying.
Yeah,
These people that's talking about going police, they are from Michigan, and they're adult folks. It's not the community, it's the people that's in here.
Vic, I'm gonna let the mayor go, and then I'll let you go if you introduce them.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna let the mayor go ahead and go, and then I'll let you go to introduce them. Mayor Hudspeth?
Yes, good evening. Good to see everybody. So I only have one thing that I was gonna share, two things. Talking about code enforcement, I turned in that house on the corner, is that Smith Street that's abandoned right there? I don't know if you saw it, but they had the door open with people in there. The garage door was kind of not secure. It's that boarded up house on the. Yes. So if you drive by there, they address that. So they cut the grass, secured that door so people aren't hanging out in there, and secured the back there as well. So got that done. And then on Hill, right there, the trees are growing into the power line. And so I turned that in, so that's in progress to cut that so that you don't have any power issues later. I saw that, so turn that in, so they'll come back and cut that back. And then if you have any trees around your power lines, you can submit that to DME, they'll come out no charge and cut those away from your power line. So just want to put that out there, make sure everyone knows. And then if you know of anyone that has a nonprofit, wants to start a nonprofit, etc., the city is having a joint meeting for all nonprofits just to kind of share thoughts and ideas on, I think, I'll find it, but I'll share that with you, Colette, or something. But they're having a meeting for everybody so you can understand what each other's doing and share ideas and funding ideas, etc. So I'll find that flyer. Here it is. That's going to be May 6th at the Development Services Center. That's that new building over off of Elm Street. So it says Development Services on it, right kind of north of the square. So that nonprofits, if you have a nonprofit, that's churches, that's anything, meet there, and they're gonna just collaborate. That's May 6th. The time is from 1 to 3. And then is everybody, this is a voting location, early voting started today, so that's good. So please make sure your voices are heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything for the mayor? Anybody have anything for the mayor? I know a lot of people walked in the back. Were you guys just coming to the meeting or bring in something?
Me?
Yeah.
We've got a sun topper.
Okay, with the laptop. Okay.
Sun topper presentation.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Look, I have so I don't talk too much. I'm always teaching. Thank you for letting me do that. Okay, so the first thing, we have our sign topper people here. We certainly appreciate you all for letting us start here in Southeast Denton first. So you all be the first group of people that the communities are gonna begin this very historic thing that we're doing here. They're gonna come up and they're gonna give us some basic information about what's the next steps, okay? And then talking about the streets, like you can see these roadways are undergoing some transformations here. I just kind of came through through, and every time I come through, it's something different. So, but on April the 28th, the City of Denton mobility people are going to have a large meeting. You all should have gotten your letters telling you what's getting ready to happen. You know, finally it's here. So we need to be there to, you know, hear what they have to say. And I think it's going to start at 6:30 on April the 28th, which is this Thursday.
Here, 6 o'clock.
I think it's 6 o'clock. It's going to be here. Right here. So y'all come back on Thursday at 6 o'clock. All right. And then I just wanted to let you all know that the City Council did pass something called a non-discrimination order. And that order means that we are totally inclusive of all people. We're respecting everyone. And that means working, living, playing, just living your life, do your thing. And I was very appreciative of that. I'm going to have an annual town hall. I think I want to have it in person. And if I can get a date here, I'll come back here so I can let you all know what we've done over the whole year in my tenure. Some things that I'm very proud of and some things that I know I probably need to work on. I want to share that with you all and the rest of the city. So I'll just have to kind of figure out what that's going to be. I swore in on May the 11th of last year, so I think it's about time for me to just go ahead and make that known as to some of the things that we've done. Know that the city is also, they came to the city council meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we gave them permission to go ahead and get started on something called area plans. And what that does is solidifies, just give you all an opportunity to finally say what you want your neighborhood to be like. Some of the buildings and some of the, any kind of structures, those kind of things. These people are gonna come through here and they're gonna lay it out for you so you can tell them what you need. And it's the capital improvement people. They are going to call a meeting. I would encourage everybody to be there because if you got developers coming in here wanting to put up big, large apartments, are you going to want to deal with that? So that's your time. We're also they're also put this community, number 1, and downtown is going to be the second one that they're going to work on. But you all know downtown extends over to Industrial Street, where those warehouses are. All of that is getting ready to start talking about that plan. I remember once you said, I'm concerned about what's getting ready to happen over in this area. So now it's time for you all to sit at the table and make your voices heard. Please, please do that, because they're going to come back to you, okay? Have something to say about that. Also, we have Mr. Hunt here. Mr. Hunt knows how much I deeply care about him. He was the one that assisted us in pushing forward the memorial, commemoration, celebration, preservation situation over at Quaker. So he's going to talk a little bit more about that. The city council did approve that. So now we can move forward, not only with sign toppers, now we will commemorate Quakertown Park the way that it should be. And he'll talk a little bit more about that. Also, the last thing, don't forget to vote. And also, you all, if you all are more curious about the inner workings of what's going on with the city, I would encourage you all to get on something called a board or a commission. You could be on the library board, you could be on the sustainability board, you could be on this board or that commission. There's so many things for you to do. We go online, I could come here or go to the senior center here, and we can go online and look and see all the things that you can put your voice on. You fill out an application. You don't even have to be registered to vote, because that was one of the criteria. You don't have to be registered to vote. You can just get on there and tell them what you think. And your voice is then sent to the city council to make a decision on. That's how it works, okay? So I would encourage you all to do that. Thank you for your time. I always appreciate coming. Yes, ma'am?
Yeah, what was that you was speaking on as far as a meeting or something that's coming? Where's the information?
It's the streets. We've been talking about the streets, you know, how the city is getting ready to do the southeastern portion of the city, which includes this neighborhood. They're getting ready to redo the utilities under the roads. You know, they're gonna widen the waterway and all of that. All that's coming up, all that's happening. I was just over on, I don't know the name. Hickory Street, where they're starting to put some things down, so.
Oh, so over here, they're gonna put the utilities.
It's all coming, it's all coming.
Oh, okay.
Is that the meeting on the 28th?
That's gonna be the meeting on the 28th, so y'all make sure y'all come back to that meeting. So you can understand exactly what
Where
they're,
it's supposed to be?
here
Okay.
at 6:30. You should have gotten a letter.
I did.
Okay, so you might wanna share that with her. And so, that's what's gonna put the timeline on that and all of that, okay? And I understand everything, from what I understand, everything's supposed to be wrapped up over the whole southeastern part of the city by 2025. So it's gonna be very detailed, but they'll start in this neighborhood first. Okay. All right, thank you.
Before we start.